Otto was here earlier with a letter from Gav. He left it on your desk.
Reports, letters, and others important missives addressed to Clive are delivered to the reading table in his chambers. Huh. The Republican army marches on the Empire at Twinside, and the men of the Rock have been summoned to the front. Something big is brewing, I reckon. I'll see you're done to wear upon my return.
What does Gav have to say?
The Republican army is on the march, leaving Randalar in Hugo Kupka's charge. With him and his men occupied with the defense of the capital, they're less likely to trouble us.
Good news, then.
It's more than that. This is our chance, the one we've been waiting for.
But look how far we've come. All that we have here, our friends, the hideaway, are they not cause for joy?
5 years. 5 long years. If I could only command this power I've been granted, we might have achieved so much more. But each time I reach for it, it's like something is holding me back.
Summoning an icon exacts a price not easily paid. Your body knows this only too well. It's merely trying to save you from yourself.
And every burden I cannot bear falls to you.
This mission of ours has made me question everything I thought I knew. But one thing has become abundantly clear. The crystals take more than they give. In exchange for momentary comfort, we must endure a lifetime of pain, war after war, loss upon loss. And now? Now they rob us of our very homes, leaving naught but dust and ash. But you're trying to change that. We're trying to change that. And to me, that's no burden.
I know, but...
Try not to forget. We're only here because Joshua gave us a second chance. It would be a pity to waste such a precious gift.
He did. He was there. It wasn't an illusion. I heard him call out to Ultima. If Joshua is still alive, he'll be looking for that thing.
Do you think he will ever come back?
I know he will. And we must be ready when he does. To a world without mother crystals. To Sid.
They're such a cool duo. I love it. Really gives the impression that they can't do it alone, but together they can do it, you know? Ah, Joshua. You get up.
And so the North is lost.
I knew that the Blight spread ever more swiftly, Your Grace. But this is far, far worse than any could have imagined.
It is only a matter of time before the twins are no more. The world marches ever closer to its end, and here we chase shadows. Tell me, brother, are our efforts in vain?
Master Clive, a moment, if you... my apologies, I didn't mean to... intrude.
Not at all. We were just discussing strategy.
Speak freely, Otto.
It's Martha, from the inn. She's gone missing. Anyway, I'll be in the mess when you've finished.
Very well.
What would make Martha leave the rest?
Spooky music.
If something has happened to Martha, we need to speak with Otto.
We haven't even seen that much of Joshua, and I already need a DLC where we play as Joshua on his quest this whole time the rest of the game's happening. Like, he is just so freaking cool. Yo, Magic. Thank you so much for the 73 months. Only our second 73-monther. And also, Lays and Syphic, thank you for your resubs as well. Thanks, Magic. Hope you're doing well, man. Happy John Day.
What do we know, Otto?
Some lads from the Imperial garrison in Rosaria started a fight over at Martha's Rest. Blood was spilled, bones were broken. The usual. But somewhere in the middle of it all, Martha vanished without a word to anyone. And that ain't like her, Clive. Something's not right.
You think this was planned?
Course it bloody was. Ever since Eastpool, the Empire's been tightening its grip round the Duchy's balls. They've strung up everyone who's ever set eyes on a runaway, claiming they're traitors to the Holy Throne, conspiring to restore the House of Rosfield to power. And now it sounds like the bastards have turned their attentions to the pallbearers meek enough to stay put. Naturally, old Martha could see the way the wind was blowing, complained that it was getting harder and harder to take bearers in.
And now she's missing. If she's fallen into the hands of the Empire, we could be next.
Couple of curse breakers are already on their way to the inn. They should help speed up the search. But if this is as bad as I think it is, you might end up having to save their asses and all.
Don't worry, Otto. I'll make sure everyone gets home safe.
Interesting name for a side quest. Actually, I think I have to go on this. Don't worry about it. Just normal, fun, fantasy side quest names. Nothing to see here.
Damn blighted bilge. Is everything all right?
Aside from the holes in my hull, everything's roses.
The lake water doesn't agree with it, then?
That's one way of putting it. And unless you got some grand scheme to suck the black from the lake like we do in the atrium, that slurry will keep eating away at the timber like young Tech does our lemon tarts.
Everyone knows about Tet and the lemon
Might
tart.
stave off the rock for a moon or so, assuming we had any pitch, which we don't. Not any bloody more. Doubt the old tub's got more than a dozen runs left in him.
Of course, Obolus. Your skiff is our only means of reaching the mainland. Without it, we'd be lost.
Well, I'm glad someone round here sees it that way. To make pitch, you need pitch trees. But in case you haven't noticed, live trees are one of the 1,000 things sorely lacking in the Deadlands. Now, I'm not so unkind as to ask you to fell a faraway forest and lug the logs back here to the mere, which is why we'll be needing a suitable alternative. And it just so happens I once heard the thorny pitchers of Curltail Falls cover themselves in a sticky wax to trap birds and beetles and whatnot.
Beetles.
Might be enough to tide me over.
Sounds easier than felling a faraway forest. That's for certain.
Sure. This looks like a good spot to find some lemon tarts. So you think the areas have changed at all in the past 5 years? Or are they just literally the same exact areas? Looking pretty similar. You know what I want to see? I want to see the I want to see the farm. I think this was the farm, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's slightly darker. That's about it. Other than that, it's the same. 2 gil? Let's frickin' go. The 2 gil is still here. It's like we never left. No enemies? This area had enemies at one point, but the last time I came back, there were no enemies. It looks like there's still no enemies. So this isn't because we skipped 5 years. This was just the way it was before too. What if I go, well, and the song. Looks like we have the same enemies too. Like the enemies didn't even level up. Just curious. I mean, there's no... Well, I guess it would be nice. Would be nice if the enemies changed, but... I'm not sure if there's gonna be any reason to come back anyways. The Blight, doesn't really seem like it got any further, because it was right here before. It was right by the dim. And I thought it was around here before also, so even though they said like it's gotten worse over the past 5 years, it doesn't seem like it actually changed the world map at all. This might be further in. I don't remember. This is different though. I don't think this was as big. Maybe. I'd have to look. I'd have to see the old map. I'm not sure. But I think it is, I think it has moved a little bit. But I'm pretty sure that northern spot was like in the same spot, because I remember it like touching the dim but not going past it. Yeah, well, I don't know where Joshua was on the map, but they were... I think he was talking about the north, so he must have been here. I don't know, maybe it wasn't this far. Maybe they're in the dim. Or I guess it could be here, but I kind of doubt that. Maybe the map shows it. Maybe Vivian's map shows it. Check it out when I go back.
Easier than felling a forest, I said. Trees don't have teeth.
Did my voice like change? I have like new battle stuff now. Ouch. Oops, wrong one. Yeah, my grunts feel gruntier. Maybe it's just the new
Time to head home.
Side quests haven't gotten any better. Maybe it's just the lightning grunts are gruntier with the lightning moves. Wait, where's Vivian? Other way. I know we're indoors, and indoors means we don't get the super speed, but like, can I please have the super speed when walking around the
Here for another of my lectures.
hideout? Because the hideout's really big now.
What is it that you wish to learn?
Okay, let's see here. So here's the... Wait. Yeah, I guess that's it. Is it? I don't know if this is the Blight or if it's just the unclaimed territories. Well, this does not show any movement in that. Like that. This is the 5-year jump right here. And there's no noticeable jump in that stuff. Or even just like all the way back here, it's still the same.
The state of the realm is ever-changing, Clive.
If you need volunteers, just say the word.
Keeper of the stores. Maybe. But the thing is, well, why we were bringing it up is because the characters were saying, like, oh, the blight's getting worse. So it's just kind of like not reflecting that. But I have a feeling later it'll like get worse and maybe we'll start to see it.
Well, did you find me some wax?
Find is one way of putting it.
Ugh. Reeks like a chocobo's arse. I don't suppose the Argo will mind as long as he stays above the waves.
Argo? So your boat has a name? I didn't know.
Yeah. Same as me old man. He was a ferryman himself back before the blight came. The boat's all I have left of him. And thanks to you, he'll sail another day.
Yeah, it was an Echo S reference. Your face looks like a chocobo's. Wait. Wait. We got a new currency. Wait. Ooh. Doesn't show that currency anywhere. I have a feeling we haven't learned it yet. Like, learned what it is yet. Almost up to this. Still have like 500 to go.
Finish with that log so we
can... On my map. World map? Yeah, I don't think it is. Even if it was, I didn't see it yet.
Does that one have blood
on it?
What happened here?
Come on. We need to find the others.
I'm sorry, Sid. We were too late. The Imperials have already left.
We're best off staying where we are for now, I reckon.
Can we just talk about how cool it is that we're Sid?
I'm sorry. Oh, I think I
Like,
just did something.
in the story, it's cool, but also like just from a Final Fantasy thing, like we've had Sid in almost every Final Fantasy ever, and now we have become him. It's kind of neat.
Sid? What said you'd be coming? I trust you don't mind. Also thought you might need some help. And it appears he was right.
You, could say that, yes. They're saying the Imperials descended like a storm. No one was spared their fury. Martha tried to step in and calm things down, but all our efforts got her were a pair of iron shackles and a hard march.
Any idea where?
Judging by their tracks, they headed towards Sorrowwise Bay.
To the Abbey, sheltering Martha's bearers.
The bastards. Jill and I will go after them. You take care of the people here.
We will. But, before you go, one of the locals heard something. He said the soldiers were talking about a culling. I don't know how big this is, but it doesn't sound good. Be careful out there, Sid.
You do the same.
I love how they did it too. I love how the guy called me Sid before we realized he was Sid. Like, it was great the way they did it.
Cole is right. That was no tavern brawl. It was a message.
But a culling. Bearers are the property of the Empire. The garrison wouldn't have the authority to act alone. The orders would have had to have come from higher up.
I love this little, like, I didn't mean for it to look this way, but it kind of looks like this was part of the cutscene. How I'm, like, halfway down the stairs and looking back at her, and she's at the top of the stairs, and then Torgal's, like, perfectly in the middle. Like, I just created my own cutscene. Should I run there? Probably not. Ooh, a store. I'm sure it'll have a bunch of super useful stuff. Like nope, and nope, and nope, and nope. Wait. This is new. Stone increases stone skin tonic duration. That is so random.
That all, is it?
Speaking of which, I did not check out that new accessory. I don't think I'm going to use it though. Actually, increases Rook's Gambit damage. Probably not necessary versus just increasing all my attack, right? I mean, it's only by 12 though. But I feel like that would probably be a better... I mean, I'm using so many abilities.
Oi, look sharp.
Increasing one ability by 10% can't be as good as increasing everything, even if by just a little.
If those horses touch it.
Of course, I'm avoiding the starting rings. It truly sucks that so many people are going to have an opinion of this game that isn't really what it should be because of those rings. But that's what they get for not doing anything with them, for making them so accessible and not giving us any kind of reason to not equip them. Like I said, path of least resistance. Well, that was a quick search.
Are you hurt?
Don't worry about me. It's them at the Abbey who need you. You have to do something.
Tell us what happened.
What happened? The damn black shields, that's what happened.
The game starts you off with 4 rings that are basically like accessibility features. So they make the game like completely free. Like it dodges everything for you for free, charges everything for you for free, does the dog stuff for you for free. I forget what the other ones are. No, this is just when you start the game, you just get them. They're not any download, they're just in the game. And even if you pick the regular, they're not on the easy setting, they're on everything. Like even if you pick normal difficulty, they're there. And they don't disable trophies, they don't disable bonus features, they don't even disable them. Or no, wait, they do disable them in arcade mode. We did test that. But no, there isn't even like a message that says like only for those that want to just experience a story or anything. They're just there. I mean, they're hardly even like if you equipped them and went through the entire game and the game was super easy and you wrote a review saying the game is too easy, I barely even blame you. Like, that's Square's fault because they're so except they're just right there and they don't, like I said, they don't disable anything. They don't even disable trophies. Like, they're just there. But yeah, they're basically easy mode, but there already is an easy mode. So yeah, it's very strange. I mean, I had a big conversation about it when we started the game though, so. But yeah. Any little amount of, hey, if you equip this, it might not be the real experience. Like, just, you know, anything to deter people from using them, because like I said, on the very first day we played, I said there's going to be people that are complaining about this. Go on Reddit right now. There's people complaining about these. There's people complaining that the game is too easy, who just equipped these. There's people that didn't equip them and saying that they're stupid. Like, everyone's complaining about these, I guarantee it. And sure enough, after that first day, I quickly looked over the news about the game without looking in too far. I didn't want to see any reviews or anything, but just kind of looked at YouTube and looked at Reddit, and yeah, that's what everyone's talking about. That's what you get. That's what you get for putting those in. I don't know why you would do that. Just put them on the easy difficulty. I don't understand why you'd put them in the normal difficulty or have them. And they even sit in your inventory all game long too. It's not like you can turn them off. It's just so silly. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. All you have to do, hold on, let me go do this cutscene.
Shields. The bastards caught wind. The abbot and I were helping bearers. They were gonna hang us both. When the sick rose from their beds, poor souls turned on the Imperials. Distracted them long enough for me to get away.
Then they may still be alive. Martha, do you think you can make it back to the inn? Cole is there with the other curse breakers.
I think so. Thank you, Clive.
She's gonna get eaten by wolves on her way there.
Black Shield.
So all they had to do is just have a setting in here that just says, like, turn on extra help. And then you turn that on and then they appear in your inventory. That's all they had to do. Or disable starter rings, or, you know, just anything. That's all they had to do. And there would be no one arguing, there'd be no one complaining. It'd be like, there we go. But like I said, Square has put so much emphasis on making sure that every single game they make is for everyone. That they are so, it was like this with the remake, it's like this with all of their games. They are so intent on making sure that every living thing on this planet is able to play their game. And they're just so sold on this concept. They will destroy anything that the core audience likes if it means that 2 extra people will play the game. And that's not my opinion. That is just a fact. That is exactly, they've said that many times. They said that with the remake. They said, if we make core people mad, but more people become core people, then we're doing it. No matter what it is, we're all for it. And that's just kind of their motto that they've, you know, over the last couple of years, they've been very serious about that point. They are more dedicated to getting more fans than creating a perfect experience for the fans that they have. So that's just their decision. And this is what we get, is stuff like this. But like I said, you're going to get people that are very upset about that. You're going to get people that complain about it. And that's just what they're willing to go through, I suppose. They're willing to make that trade. The only thing that denotes them is that they all are Ring of Timely something. So it is a bit, you know, from your menu you can tell that they're the easy rings. But other than that, you know, if someone wasn't paying attention, they could easily, accidentally equip these. And, you know, if you... some people are saying, like, they played through the games with the game with these. That's totally fine. If they make the game more fun for you, then by all means equip them. But I just knew as soon as I saw them that there was going to be a public outcry and a public annoyance with this. I just knew it from the moment I saw it. I'm like, yep, this is going to be a problem. People are going to be mad about this. And I mean, I agree. It's annoying.
Is this some sort of twisted joke? There has only ever been one Order of Shields in Rosaria, and they fought to defend all her citizens.
It seems a step too far, even for the Empire.
Yeah, I think it's great. I really do think it's great that they exist. I only wish that they did it differently. I only wish that it was a more obvious thing. Either it's only on easy mode, or there's like a disclaimer that comes up, or it disables trophies, or something of that nature. That's my only request. Other than that, I'm very happy that they're there. And, you know, I said that before with people in my family that, you know, I would want to show this game. I'm glad that they're there. And I, more than a lot of people, appreciate accessibility options for many reasons. I just wish they did it different. Can't win them all. If it's either they do it that way or they don't do it at all, I say do it that way, I guess. Because I mean, I think it's better for everyone. Like you said, the diehards can just not equip them or complain about it and then move on. You know? That's the camp I'm in. I'm gonna complain about it and then move on and not let it bother me. But yeah. CJ Tor. Now, one thing that I am kind of wondering, and don't tell me if you know, but one thing I am kind of wondering is if after the game, if there's some kind of hard mode or New Game Plus or whatever, and those rings aren't accessible. Because if that's the case, then I can kind of see an argument for it. I mean, here's my thing. I think that the difficulty of the game is part of the story, and that's where it's frustrating for me, because when you fight Bahamut for the first time, he should be difficult. That's part of the lore. That's part of the story. That's part of what makes games interesting. When you watch a movie, you're just watching the movie, and it's not you don't have to perform. You don't have to do anything. You're just watching the movie. So Bahamut might look scary, but it's not affecting you in any way. But that's what makes video games great. That's what makes video games a better medium, or a different medium. Maybe I shouldn't say better, but a different medium than movies, is that there's a big dragon god in front of you, and now you have to fight it, and it's a difficult experience. And when you finish that difficult experience, you feel like you achieved something. So by having these rings that some people might equip, not even realizing how easy it makes the game, because it doesn't say that. When you equip it, it doesn't say like, hey, this is going to make the game really easy. Like, it doesn't say that. They're just there. And this is normal difficulty. So someone might pick normal difficulty, equip those rings because they're there, and when they get to the big boss Bahamut battle, they're like, oh, that was easy. And they don't get that same experience of like defeating a difficult boss and like going up against the odds and succeeding and being rewarded for learning the combos and learning the way the game works. Like, all of that is part of what makes video games great. That's why when a game is too easy, it gets a bad review. That's the reason. You know, when you look up game reviews, if a game is super duper easy, people aren't saying like, wow, it's the best game ever. It's so easy. You just have to press one button and the game ends. 10 out of 10, best game ever. Like, no, people are like angry. Like, people are mad when a game is too easy, and that's why, because that's part of the experience. You should be challenged. When you go up against a boss, it should challenge you against all of the things that you've learned, you know? So that's where it's a struggle for me. I feel like it's taking away a lot of what makes video games, you know? And I think that's just a shame. If you go in knowing that you don't want the challenge, it's all good, Tide, don't worry about it. You know, knowing that you don't want a challenge and knowing that you just want to listen to the story, that's what easy mode is for. And this game has an easy mode. It has a story mode. So I just don't get it. I don't get why the extra layer of let's make sure no one has any difficulty playing our game. Like, at that point, just make a movie, Square Enix. Like, honestly, if the whole thing with this game was like, we just want to give people the story. Like, we just want to give people, we want to make it as easy as possible so everyone can enjoy the story. Just make a movie. Like, you know, why is it even a video game at that point? So, yeah. That's just my spiel about it. By all means, it's great that they're there, but please, in the future, make it, you know, do it differently. In my humble opinion, it should be done differently.
Farewell.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, there's really no reason it shouldn't just be, and you know, if it truly is supposed to be an accessibility option, which, let's be honest, it is. It is. Automatically heal whenever you're about to die. Automatically dodge every single attack. Ring of Timely Strikes, not as much. That's more of like a modern control from Street Fighter kind of thing. But, you know, slow down time every time you're about to get hit. The Ring of Timely Assistance is also interesting because you get it a bit later too. I guess because you don't have the dog right away, but that one doesn't seem like too much of like a free mode. But these three in particular, like, these are accessibility options. Let's call them what they are, like 100%. So why are these not just in here somewhere and then allow people to equip more accessories? Because they take up your accessory slots. So now you don't get to experience, you know, because you're never going to equip something that's not these, right? You're never going to get something that's better than these. So now you're taking away one of the mechanics of the game, which, by the way, there's not many. With the equipment, this is a waste of time. So the only cool equipment thing in the game, these accessories, are now taken away from you because you're taking up those slots with those rings. So why would it not just be here? That does just seem so strange.
Are we too late?
There might still be someone inside.
Can you pretend they aren't there? Can I pretend that my YouTube isn't full of people complaining about it and Reddit is full of people complaining about it? Because that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about my playthrough. I'm talking about the game as a whole. I can't just ignore the flood of comments of people saying, wow, the game is so easy. Because of them. It ruins the general release of the game. I'm not talking about my playthrough. There's a difference. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that comment, wow, he complains so much about the rings, just don't equip them. That's not the point. The point is not you can just ignore them. You can just not equip them and then the playthrough is normal. That's not the point. The point is it ruins the experience for certain people that have never touched a Final Fantasy game before. They're going to pick this game up. They're not going to know that those are more accessibility options and not something that you just normally have in Final Fantasy games. They're going to equip them. They're going to play the game. They're going to be like, wow, this game is too easy and I dodge everything and I don't really understand the mechanics. And then they're going to come to me and say, Final Fantasy sucks. I don't get it. Why do you spend your whole life with this series? The series sucks. I played the new one and it's like I don't even have to press buttons. The game plays itself. You know? Like, that's the kind of thing that I'm going to be dealing with because of these rings. And, like, when I review the game, I'm going to have to take into consideration these rings because they're here and they don't disable anything when you equip them. So the game is balanced around them, you know? It's not just so much, it's not just about ignoring them during my playthrough. Luckily, they're disabled during arcade mode, because if they weren't disabled during arcade mode, that would be a whole nother different issue with, like, do I use them to get high scores in arcade mode? What about the speed run? What if I end up speed running the game? Am I going to use those rings? Because they're there. We're going to have to decide if we, like, remove them or not for the speed run. What about challenge runs? Am I allowed to use them in challenge runs? Now I have to figure that out. Like, it affects more than just your first casual playthrough, you know? And you know, again, my argument is that even if they're supposed to help people, they're not doing that either. Because it removes one of the main mechanics of the game. Well, multiple mechanics of the game. It removes the dog mechanic. It removes the precision dodge mechanic. It removes the accessory mechanic. So, like, it's not even doing a good job of making the game easier and still fun. So I don't even think it's really doing what Square Enix wanted it to do, you know? So as someone who cares about the development of future Final Fantasy games, I think it's a step in the wrong direction. Even if it never affects my personal playthrough.
No.
Damn it. I thought you lot were all spent.
Murderers. They drove the bearers to this.
Wait. These two aren't turned.
That bitch of an innkeeper must have sent them. Colluding with the enemies of the Empire is a serious offense.
And for their crimes shall they be punished. Such is the law. To dwell in darkness that we may purge the night and welcome lasting dawn. On these our swords we swear.
How dare you speak those words? Have you no honor?
Clive.
This won't take long.
Prove your honor to me. I'm trying, I'm trying.
I think so.
Yeah, it all leads into another discussion about, you know, games and the way that modern gaming is going.
I didn't see the abbot. He may still be alive.
You know. I don't... Well... Kind of just shows where Final Fantasy is headed. Kingdom Hearts is still a bit of a niche thing, and Square Enix is willing to make it more difficult and more niche and more, like, unapproachable. Whereas Final Fantasy has truly become their, we want everyone to play this no matter what series. And I mean, it kind of always has been, but they're really leaning into it now with, you know, like I said, let's make sure that literal babies can play our game. Which is strange, because this is also the first mature game in the series. But it's like, we have to make sure that legitimately everyone can play. And it, yeah. Yes, there's people that are older, that aren't into video games, that will want to play this game and want to equip those rings, and it will help them enjoy the game. Absolutely, that's why I'm glad they're here. But that leads into other questions like, why is there a tutorial to tell us that the analog stick moves us forward if it's a mature game? Pretty sure anyone over the age of 5 knows what the analog stick does. I know, I have a 5-year-old, and he knows what the analog stick does. So, we could go on and on about this discussion.
The abbot.
The bearers died protecting him, calling upon what little magic they had left in their bodies.
Clive. He's breathing.
We're friends of Martha. We're here to help.
Are the Imperials dead?
They are. Every last one.
If only that were true. The Black Shields will return. The cuttings will continue. Rosaria will never be saved unless we save her. Tell Matt to beg Cid's aid and tell her this wasn't her fault.
I shall.
Cid! Where are you? Cid!
In here! We found a survivor!
Clive. He's gone.
And give that guy a voice acting award.
We've laid the abbot to rest.
He's not dead. He's a rock.
They didn't need to die like this.
No, they didn't. But it was their choice. They knew the fate that awaited them and chose to meet it on their terms, fighting for those who fought for them.
Martha said they rose from their beds, threw themselves at the Imperials so she and the Abbot could escape.
I've gathered the bearer's remains. We should consign them to the tide.
There's a drawbridge not far from here. Radix Jump. The currents there are swift. If the Abbot was still with us, he'd have taken the dust there himself and performed the casting. I'll get someone to...
I'll do it.
Of course. Cole and I will remain here and see to the Imperials.
You picked up that entire sack? Yeah, I would say, in general, this game has been pretty good with the backseat hand-holding stuff. I think the rings are really a problem because this is like a new way that they're trying to make the game accessible, and I just think it's totally the wrong way to do it. But other than that, this game's been pretty good. There were some kind of annoying tutorials at the start, but I think in general it's been pretty good. And there was that one moment when we turned into Ifrit, or we semi-primed, and it didn't give me a tutorial, and I was like, yes, thank you, game, for allowing me to just press buttons. So, like, that was cool. But games like this make me worry about the future. It feels like we're just slowly adding more and more with every game I play. There's more and more tutorials, more and more backseating, more and more solving stuff for you. And I just worry about the future, you know? And that's why I get so passionate about this stuff. And that's why I complain about it. And I know some people are like, man, you complain about this too much. But I'm passionate about it because it matters. Because the future, I'm just envisioning a dystopian future where the game plays itself and we just watch it. I mean, I'm serious. Like, I'm not even joking. When I played Forbidden West, I was appalled by some of the stuff that game did, you know? Like, it's just sad. It's truly sad the way that games work now. I mean, it's just... When I'm in a side quest and the entire point of the side quest is to do a puzzle and the NPC solves the puzzle for me, like, what are we doing? How did they design that and think, yeah, this is fun? Like, this is how we should design this. Forbidden West. Forbidden West is an incredible game, but good lord, it does not let you play it. There are multiple instances where there's a puzzle. That our favorite one is the October is the 10th month of the year. That's our quote. There's a puzzle where you're supposed to solve this door number, this code for this door, and it gives you the hint that it's October in like a day. And the second you look at that, the NPC with you says, wow, October is the 10th month of the year. It must be part of the code. Like, before you can even think about it, before you can even connect it to the door, just immediately, the second you see it, she's telling you what month it is. Like, and this is a side quest, not a main quest. The main quests, I kind of understand it because they don't want anyone to get stuck. It would be a shame if someone got stuck on some simple puzzle and they couldn't finish the rest of the game because their brain just didn't work that way or didn't think that way, or they just kind of struggled on this one puzzle. And it could, like, that happened to me with the original God of War. When I was a kid, I played the original God of War and I got stuck for like hours in this one room because I just didn't understand how you're supposed to move a block. And the old God of Wars were linear. So I was stuck there and I couldn't finish the game until my buddy helped me with it. So, like, that kind of thing I understand. But this was a side quest for side loot that I should be... The whole point of it is I was good enough to figure out that puzzle, therefore I get this cool bow. You completely ruin that whole line of gameplay. Like, that the whole mechanics behind the development of the game is you do this thing, you get rewarded with this thing. It just completely ruins it all. It just becomes a rail. Like, you're just going through the motions. You're just... The game now decided I have this weapon. Like, it just completely ruins the whole gameplay loop of what makes looting games fun. You know, Forbidden West, for lack of a better term, is like a looter shooter where it's like you're getting new weapons and looting things and doing side quests for better loot and stuff. It just completely ruins that whole gameplay loop. You know, and it's similar with this game with the rings. It's like the whole point of this game is to learn enemies and learn how to dodge them so that you can defeat them and see more of the story. And that gameplay loop is completely ruined if we take away the dodging. It now becomes a movie where you press buttons sometimes. And that's fine if that's what you want it to be, but obviously you would have picked the story difficulty if that were the case. So why are the rings not just there, you know? So it's just, I continually see these accessibility options defeat gameplay loops, and I know there's a better way to do it. There is a better way to make games accessible to people that don't play games that doesn't involve destroying the gameplay loop. You know what I mean? Instead of having a ring that completely destroys dodging, instead, let's have a setting that, in fact, the slow motion one I think is better. I like the slow motion one better than the auto dodge. That one makes it seem like we're still using the mechanics, but we're making it easier for people. In fact, why not just have a ring that increases the dodge chance, period? Gives you more time to dodge. Doesn't slow down the game, but just gives you more time to dodge. Give me a ring that just doubles my HP. Give me a ring that doubles my damage. That stuff is good accessibility because we're still playing the game like normal. It's just easier. We're not taking away what makes the game fun. With Forbidden West, let's just have those weapons in different, like let's make the weapon accessible without having to do that puzzle and then have the puzzle give a different reward. Not just completely ruin the puzzle by telling us what month October is. You know, like there's just so many better ways to do this and to keep games fun. Because I worry about this dystopian future where games aren't fun anymore and we're just watching the numbers go up and there's no real mechanics anymore. Everything is just told to us, and, you know, which maybe that's an exaggeration, but I don't know, man. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. You're telling me that this game has no block. All there is dodging. And we have a ring that auto dodges. You're telling me that's not scary? The side quest in Forbidden West, the entire point was to solve that puzzle, and the NPC told me how to do the puzzle. That's kind of scary. That's like we're losing what makes games fun here, you know? So, yeah. Dystopia. That's fine. If it changes later, I will discuss it later. I can only discuss what's going on now. I complained about the equipment earlier, and people were saying, "Don't complain about it. It gets better later." I can't. I'm not a time traveler. I can only talk about what's happened. If suddenly the equipment gets amazing, I will run it back. But it's been 25 hours. It's not better yet. Ooh. What this? Notorious marks. Every now and then, Clive may encounter creatures larger, faster, more ferocious than most. While flight is always an option, defeating these notorious marks can earn him not only renown, aha, it is renown, but also rare materials that may be used to craft new gear or upgrade existing items. Now we're talking. Here's what I'm kind of worried about. The bestiary was so small that I have a feeling that this is a bit of an outlier, and the rest of the notorious marks are just going to be like a wolf that's bigger. You know what I mean? Because the bestiary was so small, there can't be that many unique ones. I feel like most of them are just going to be like a wolf, but he's red now. But hopefully that's not the case. Oh, he's called Nariman too.
What am I saying? Of course it has. It's a floating eyeball.
Uh-oh. What does this do? Ouch. Ooh. Dang, this guy ain't messing around. Can you handle 5?
Nice try.
I am thunder.
Nice try. To me, boy. Now, Gorgo.
What is Quagga? I like the sound of that.
Nice try.
Crap. Forgot to grab him. Should have grabbed him. What was that? Chomp. I'm surprised he's not dead. I did way more damage on my first one. Oh, you can do those at the same time? That's neat. Oh, 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 oh. Woo! What's he doing? Nice. Oh, man. I'm getting excited, boys. We're seeing some new stuff. This renown thing, the hunt thing. You know I'm down for hunts. Like,
You didn't see that coming.
that is my favorite mechanic. And it sounds like there's some kind of thing. Some kind of mechanic. I'm stoked. Oh, man. I'm stoked. The giant eyeball didn't see that coming. Well, let's stop here because I'm gonna have a lot to say about whatever this ends up being, and I think that we're about to learn like a lot of the new mechanics of the new world, so let's stop here. Yeah, I mean, I didn't mean to go on such a tangent about the hand-holding, because I do think this game is actually one of the better I've played this year and last year in terms of the tutorials and hand-holding, but like I said, hopefully it's just not an indicator of things to come. I want Square to continue to be able to make experiences that the core fans can like and new fans can like, you know? Instead of bowing down to the casual audience all the time. Because like I've always said, if the core audience likes it, the casual fans will come running. Just like Dark Souls was. Like Demon Souls was the most not casual friendly game ever. And every casual fan played it. And that's why. Because if you make the game good for your core audience, it will bring in new people. Just like the toy industry always targeted older kids with their toys because the younger kids played what the older kids liked. It's the same way with the game industry. You don't have to bend over backwards for everyone that's never played a game before. Make it good for the people that are playing games, and they will spread it. So, I just hope it doesn't get too ridiculous in the future. But I still think this game did a pretty good job. As soon as I started to get annoyed with the tutorials, they were over. So, you know, there were a couple kind of goofy ones, but that's always kind of the case. Oh, dude, everything I was into, it was because my older brother was into it. Everything. I got into Pokemon because my older brother was into it. Then I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because my older brother was into it. Then I got into Magic because my older brother was into it. Most of my music tastes were my older brother. Like, wrestling was because of my older brother. A lot of the things I got into. It's definitely a thing. I mean, I'm expecting to see it with my kids too. No, the older brother effect only lasted until I was like, probably in middle school. Maybe before that too. Like middle school-ish, I started to really get into my own things that no one else was into. I mean, at that point, you're getting into what your friends are into a lot of the times, not your siblings. But, yeah. I mean, you're definitely influenced by everyone. It's hard to pick up something just yourself. That's pretty rare. Nowadays, with the internet and stuff, you can definitely fall into a rabbit hole and end up liking something that no one else around you has any idea what it is, and then you have to explain it to them. But more often than not, it's you're getting it from someone else. A friend sends it to you. Your family gets into it. Your brother gets into it. Somebody around you gets into it, and you learn about it, and then you get into it. That's 99% of the time what happens. But when you're a kid, it's always that older brother. Because they're always the coolest, you know. They're the coolest person you know. You want to be like them. And who wouldn't want to be like a gamer? You know? You see a gamer playing the new hot game, and they're like, bro, this game is on fire. Who wouldn't want to be like that? Everybody knows gamers are the coolest people around. Everyone knows that. All right, well, let's say goodbye to YouTube real quick. YouTube, thank you so much for watching and listening to all of my ramblings. I hope you are still enjoying the playthrough and the game as well. I am so excited for next week. We're not going to be playing this for a little bit. You guys on YouTube won't notice because the episodes will still be coming out, but we're not going to play this for the next 4 days. I'm going to let my whole community catch up. We're just going to do a double day of 13 on Friday, and then we'll start this back up on Monday. So, yeah, we're going to have 4 days away from it. But I am very excited for next Monday because I want to see what this hunt system is, and I want to see what this renown system is, and I want to see how things have changed now, because this renown system really sounds like they're trying to do more of like a open worldy, infinite side questy idea. Maybe we'll see. So there's a lot more to learn. There's a lot more to see. I'm excited for it. So we'll see you in the next episodes of Let's Play Final Fantasy XVI. See you there. Peace.